Okay, I'm biased, but today's episode might be one of my all-time favorites. I'm joined by a few amazing women from our very own Powerhouse community, and today we're talking about what really happens when you invest in yourself and your big ideas. You guys hear me talk about this all the time, and I probably sound like a broken record. So I wanted you to hear it from women who just in the last year made their very first big, what felt big to them, investment into themselves and their business. They were actually graduates of our very first ever six-figure school program. And so today we're going to talk about how did they know it was the right time to go all in on their big ideas, and how did they know they were ready to invest in mentorship. And we're also going to have them share how investing in themselves completely impacted their businesses and their lives. Today I'm joined by Shanae Kidd, Meghan O'Brien, Sarah Brush, and Stef Caldwell. Incredible women. I cannot wait for you to meet them. I'm going to let each of them tell you a little bit more about themselves and their businesses and just what they're up to in the world on this episode. So let's dive in. Okay, before we get into today's episode, I have something really exciting to share. You have heard me talk about our six-figure school program, and we only open it twice a year. We are opening it for spring very, very soon. You know, podcasts are amazing. You can learn so much from them. If you're like me, you probably binge listen to so many different incredible podcasts. But if you're ready for a step-by-step plan, you're tired of figuring it out all on your own, and you just want someone to take you by the hand and show you exactly how to launch and scale your big idea to your first six figures, then this is for you. You also happen to get the most incredible, badass community of women who are going to support you and hold you accountable. So my favorite thing about the way we've designed Six-Figure School is that you have access for the life of the program. So you get to learn and grow at your own pace. There's no such thing as falling behind, and there's really no such thing as joining too early, because no matter if your idea is just the tiny seed of inspiration or you've been at it for a while, you are going to get so much from this program and community that's going to help you go further faster. So if your heart is kind of racing and your palms are getting a little sweaty just hearing me talk about this, then something tells me this might be for you. And if you know you're ready to go all in on your big ideas, here's what I want you to do. The doors won't open for a few more days or weeks, depending on when you're hearing this message, but I want you to text me the word READY, READY, text me the word READY to 602-536-7829. And you're going to get first access to join when we open the doors, plus some exclusive bonuses that no one else is going to get. We only open this program, like I said, twice a year. And once the doors open, they are not open for long. So hit pause right now, send me a quick text. The number is in the show notes, and let's do this. Let's get you on the way to making your big idea a reality. Now, let's dive into today's episode. Welcome back to the podcast. I feel like this is kind of a podcast party today. I am joined by not just one, but four of my absolute favorite women on the planet. And I'm so excited for all of you to get to hear from them, learn from them, and really dive into this topic today that I get asked about a lot, which is, how do you really know when it's time to start investing in yourself? Like, how do you know if you're ready to take that step? And so I obviously talk about this a lot, but I wanted you to hear from some other people. And these women all happen to be recent grads of our signature program called Six-Figure School. And they are all amazing. I cannot wait for you to meet them. So I'm going to introduce you all one by one. And then what I'd love for you to do is I want you to introduce yourself, who you are, tell us a little bit about you and what you do in the world. Whether I know some of you have full-time jobs and you're building a business, some of you are raising human beings and building a business. So I would love just for all of you to share a little bit about who you are. Sound good? You're just all nodding because we're trying to like do this dance between 5 voices on Zoom all at one time, but it's going to be great. So I'm going to go in the order that I see you on my screen. Meghan, I'll have you go first.
Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. My name is Meghan O'Brien. I live in the small town of Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. So shout out to all the Midwest girls.
Represent.
Yeah. And I currently am a mom of 2 boys, or 3 boys, actually.
I'm like, you actually have 3, Meghan.
I actually have 3. So 8, 7, and my little guy just turned 3. So I am home full time with them. And I like to say I'm a work from home mom. So raising them and also building a business called The Reconnected Mama, where I am helping moms reconnect to their identities outside of motherhood. Doing that through motivational and mindset coaching. And then I also created a community locally in the Chippewa Valley. That's what we call where we live here in Chippewa Falls, Eau Claire area. Because I've been able to get out to the Powerhouse Women event, and I just love the community out there, but obviously don't reside in Phoenix and Scottsdale, where all these wonderful ladies, most of them I have met, are. So I wanted to create something locally where I could just connect women in my community for that same kind of support system face to face.
Oh, and it's been so much fun to watch. For those of you that don't know, Meghan and I are like OGs. Like we went to college together. I went to college in Eau Claire, which is close to where she lives. If you don't know that fun fact. And it's just been so fun to watch your journey grow. And we're going to dive into more of that in just a sec. Sarah, I'm going to throw it to you next.
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm Sarah Brush. I am a corporate event planner, and I've been doing that for 20 years. And I also have a side business working with entrepreneurs and small businesses on event planning and sponsorship. I live in Scottsdale, Arizona, and I have 2 very strong-willed kiddos that are 11 and 12. My daughter is 12, and she is a little entrepreneur already. She's already a huge fan of Powerhouse Women like I am.
She's like our youngest girl gang member. She's in.
Oh, yes. It's so exciting. So I am so happy to be here. And I also just started a podcast about 2 months ago with the support of all of the women in 6-figure schools. So I'm super excited about that and very happy to be here talking to you.
Oh, we're so glad to have you here. And spoiler alert, you guys, you're going to get to hear our very youngest Powerhouse Girl Gang member, Sarah's daughter, Brooklyn, on an upcoming episode. And we'll share the full story behind that when we share that episode, but I cannot wait. She's Girl Gang material for sure.
Yeah, I can't get over the excitement I have for that. So stay tuned.
Well, I told you, I said, I don't know who's more excited, Brooklyn or me. It might be a tie. Okay, I'm going to throw it back to the Midwest to Stef.
Ooh, Chicago represent. Hey, everybody. I'm so excited to be chatting with all of you. So I am one of those gals that work full time. So I work in artificial intelligence by day, and by night, I am the author, podcast host, and founder of the Manifest Her Network, which is really an organization and network of really incredible, ambitious women from all walks of life who've come together to get unstuck or get out of their own way and really into their biggest, most expanded lives. So helping women really navigate the weirdness of life after formal education comes to an end and the rest of your life is just an abyss of potential, and really helping them start living their dream lives. So excited to be here. Thanks for having me, Linz.
Oh, we're so thrilled to have you. And last but certainly not least, we have Miss Shanae. I feel like I should say, hey, girl. Girl, hi.
Girl, hi. Hi. Hi, I'm Shanae, and I live in Phoenix, Arizona. I've been here almost 2 years, actually, in June. I can't believe it, but I love it here. I work as a project manager full-time in education. But what really gets me going, what I really love is my online women's boutique, Girl Hi Boutique. And that's where my passions lie. And I love to dress women in dope outfits and make them feel amazing. So that's what I love, and love Powerhouse Women. I'm happy I found you, Lindsay, last year. You saved me in a lot of ways. So this community is fantastic.
Well, the feeling is so mutual. When I look at all of your faces, it's one of those podcasts where like already my cheeks hurt from smiling. Just the gratitude that I have for all of you specifically. And this speaks to the overflow of women who aren't here representing, this community today. It's all of you that make this community so special. It wouldn't be special if it were just me. It's truly like all of your hearts and the way you support each other. And I can't even put into words how much that means, just to see this vision come to life. And so I want to have each of you share a little bit about that for your own big ideas. Give people an idea, and we'll just go in that same order. I think that way, for those of you listening, you can kind of remember who's who and who's speaking. But here's what I would love to hear. What inspired you? Like, when was that moment that you knew, okay, I've got this big idea and I've got to take action on it? Like, what was that initial inspiration? And then how did you know you were ready to make an investment into that idea? So whether that's, in whatever way you want to talk, if it's like investment in a program, investment in inventory for the boutique, tell us a little bit about the inspiration and then how you knew you were ready to make your first investment. So Meghan, we'll start with you.
Sure. So as far as the journey, when we met a few years back now, I was working in corporate. I had my 2 older boys at the time, and I honestly didn't know anything about the world of self-development or personal growth. And then we reconnected, and you kind of invited me into this world of the possibility of more. Even before Powerhouse Women began, you were just always having those conversations about, there's more, and if you feel more, and a nudge on your heart, and that's okay, and what does that look like? So that really kind of opened my eyes, because I was just doing the daily, right? Waking up, going to work, feeding the kids, bathing them, like doing all the things as a mom, just kind of going through life, doing what I knew at the time, and then being welcomed into this world of possibility and just the opportunity that was out there beyond just the 4 walls of like a corporate business or just being mom. So then I just really, I showed up in listening to podcasts and reconnecting with you in our prior business, the health and wellness, and just kind of just continuing to learn what that was all about. And honestly, that was kind of a 2-year journey where I had to kind of really delve back into myself and what I wanted and who I was, which is where this idea for the Reconnected Mama came from, was because I realized I had kind of lost my own identity in becoming a mom, in that transition between being someone's mom, but then still holding my same identity. And I thought, well, I can't be the only mom out there that kind of lost themselves, not in a bad way, but just, as a mom, you traditionally put yourself on the back burner, and, you don't put your needs first. And just wanting to help other women who are in that same time in their life as I was. And after this 2-year journey, when we would continue to have conversations, I just was like, okay, I have to do this. Like, it's been a 2-year waiting period, and I haven't really taken action on my own and haven't really done anything, because I was still trying to gain clarity around what this would look like and how this would really come to life and how I could best serve the women that I wanted to serve. And then that's when you told me about the program that you were starting. At the time, it didn't even have a name. And I was like, yeah, sign me up. Like, if you can give me the roadmap. And I knew if I invested in something that I was going to show up differently. Like, this was the time where it was like, okay, I'm going to get serious. I'm going to make that decision. And I'm going to go all in, and I'm just going to do it, because this other waiting period it just, nothing had really come to fruition. But now I knew I was ready because I had taken that time to grow myself and invest in myself and show up every day. And then I was like, okay, yeah, I'm ready now. I'm ready to just take the leap. And I know if I have a program like this, if I invest in myself, that I'm going to show up at a different level because I'm committing differently than I had in the past.
Yeah. Oh, that's so true. And when you said it like that, like I knew I would show up differently. And that's what I always tell people, like those of you creating programs, like when you're charging people, the money we ask those who are working with us to invest is almost more for them than for us, because it really has you show up as that higher self version that you need to be. Oh, that was so well said. And what a lot of people don't know, and I love sharing this story because this just gives you a glimpse behind the scenes of Powerhouse Women, that a lot of what has been created that you see us producing isn't my original idea. I need the support of the people around me. And Meghan was one of those people where she was one of a few different voices that was like, Linz, can you just recommend some kind of mentorship program or something that would show me the ropes? And I kept hesitating because I said, what I really wish existed doesn't exist. And you were that nudge to say, well, maybe, just maybe, friend, you should create that. And so it's a reminder that we all have people around us that we almost need that nudge to pour into our big ideas, because I find myself questioning, like, I don't know, do people really need this? Is this what the world wants? Why can't they get it from someone else? I still deal with all those same thoughts. And truly, I mean it when I say Six Figure School probably wouldn't exist if it weren't for that nudge from you. So I'm eternally grateful. We all are. We didn't know we were until right now, but we all are.
You're welcome.
Okay, Sarah, same question to you. I mean, you're kind of taking the same experience that you have in your day job and now branching out to create a business around it. But what was that inspiration behind deciding to do it as your own business? And then how did you know that you were ready to take that step, invest in this idea, and go bigger?
Yeah, so 2020 was really a game changer for me. So, as a corporate event planner, I was just busy all of the time, obviously with live events, and I just didn't have the time to invest professionally in myself. My company would, invest in us and we would do programs there, but I wasn't able to really network outside of that. And when everything hit with COVID and everything slowed down with events, I actually finally had that time where I could go out there and build community. And I found you with Powerhouse Women, and you started doing those connection calls, which were twice a week. And it was just amazing to connect, especially during that time, and talk with people that were going through the same thing, whether they had a business or they were thinking about starting a business. So through that, and then binge listening to all of your podcasts, I just started to realize, I knew I loved event planning, but I didn't realize how much I loved connecting and collaborating with other entrepreneurs. And so really that idea came, to do what I love, but to focus on the audience that I really like working with. So I already had a small business that I started 4 years ago that was handmade game rentals for weddings, parties, and events. But that really evolved into doing the event planning and sponsorship with, the small business and entrepreneurs. So as soon as you announced the six-figure program, I was so excited to join, but I also was very hesitant because I had never invested my own money into anything like that. And so I know we had a call and we talked, and, I just felt like I couldn't pass up doing something with Powerhouse Women. And I knew that I had this idea and I really wanted to just move forward with it. And the most important thing to me too was just the community and connection. And so I just decided, hey, I'm going to go for it. And I think one of the other things I loved is with Six Figure School, we got to be part of the program for the life of it. So I knew that if I was at the beginning stage of this business during this first round of Six Figure School, I could go back for the next session and just proceed with, another area that I may need help with. So it was that was really my deciding factor. And then I think also, even when the program ends, I had mentioned this another time, but, we had a call with some of the women from Six Figure School, last week, and we were on the phone for 2 hours helping each other with our businesses. So even when the program ends, those connections don't end. So I find so much value in it way, before and beyond the actual dates of, the mentorship.
Yeah. And I'm so glad you spoke to that hesitation of making that first investment. And we'll circle back on this too, because I want a few of you to share what really had you step into that. And I think kind of you both touched on it so far. But Steph, for you, I will never forget, probably my favorite, one of my favorite memories from this last round of Six Figure School was getting that text from you. I think it was probably like the last day that you could join. And we had a little DM conversation the day before. And then I woke up to a text it was something to the effect, this is me paraphrasing, of you woke up and thought about the woman you wanted to be a year from now. And so I'm going to have you share a little bit about that. Of course, the inspiration behind Manifest Her, but you're someone who was a little bit further along in your business, and you've actually now joined and taken a huge leap and joined the mastermind for 2021. So clearly there's something to this idea of investing in yourself, because your growth has really been fun to watch. So take us back, share the inspiration, and then tell us a little bit about what transpired for you in making investments in yourself this year.
Yeah. I love that that's like a distinct memory in your head too, because it's certainly like a moment in my life that I'll always go back to. So when I introduced myself, I mentioned that I work in high tech by day. And so for me, it was really important to create a business where women could put down their phones and put down technology and interface with each other in a really authentic way, where it's like phones down, eyes up, like let's connect, ladies. And so that was the impetus to building Manifest, was creating a safe space where we could gather women together and broker those in-person connections in a really, really meaningful way. The pandemic hit and all of that changed overnight. And I'm certainly not one of those people to say like the world happened to me, like I really like having autonomy in my life and saying like I design the future that I want. But the pandemic changed the terms and conditions of my entire business model. And so it was, September of 2020 when I first got connected with Lindsay. And then I think it was like November of 2020-ish when Six Figure School was happening. And I just remember sitting on my couch and thinking, I have no idea what to do next. Like the terms and conditions of the world have now changed. And I know the impact that this business is having. I know that this business needs to continue moving forward. And I just have no clue how to do that myself. And I'm big into personal development, big into investing in myself in like smaller amounts. But this was Six Figure School was really the first time that I said, this is going to be an investment and it's going to pay me back 5 to 10x. I have no idea how, but it just felt right. And again, I work full time. And so my schedule was really busy, and I was looking at like closing out the end of the year. And did I have enough time to invest in this program? And if I made that investment, would I disappoint myself by not showing up if my day job, pulled me away? And to Lindsay's point, I had to sit with myself and say like, well, who do I want to be a year from today? And is this going to get me closer to that? Or if I decline this invitation, right, is it going to keep me further away from that? Mm-hmm. And I actually put the shoe on the other foot. I was like, if this was one of my manifestors coming to me and saying like, I'm thinking about making this investment, but I just don't know that I'm ready. The obstacles standing in my way are time and money. I'd be like, so what you're telling me is it's not a priority to you. And I was like, oh my God, am I saying that this business that is my biggest dream is not a priority to me? Like that's absurd. And so that was the moment in my own head that I needed to get out of my own way. It's like, it's either a priority or it's not. You're either willing or you're not. And in this case, I was willing, and this felt like the perfect container, the perfect formula for helping me figure out the next step of the business. And yeah, we can talk about where it's gone since, but it was a really, really exciting investment, and clearly got me to just continue investing myself, which has been really magical.
Yeah. And let's stay on that theme just for one sec, because I think this is the part that I will explain until I'm blue in the face, and until you step into it for yourself, there's really no understanding it logically. But talk about that shift that occurred, because then like we said, a few short months later, and it took something, right? This wasn't just like an easy choice for you to make the next big leap and put yourself in the mastermind. There were a lot of conversations we had around that, but what was I'm more curious, like what was the mental shift for you? Because that's really what I think people are going to learn from.
Yeah. One of the things that you actually teach in the program is like when you pay attention. And I had never realized how true that was in my own life. And six-figure school is an investment. It's not like the biggest investment you'll make in your life, but it's significant if you've never invested at that level outside of your formal education, which like comes with, like stigma, like university. So when I sat down, I was like, oh man, am I going to make this investment? In my head, I was like, well, how would I have this pay me back? Again, like threefold, fivefold, tenfold. What would that require? And the second you like open your aperture to like, well, how could I monetize, or like, how could this investment actually generate more income? You start to get really creative. And so for me, both with investing in six-figure school and then now investing in the mastermind, it's been pretty exceptional, like extraordinary for me to see how that just creates more creative energy for me to figure out how to get the return on investment that I would need in order to validate the investment that I'm making.
Yeah. And kind of like Meghan said, it forces you to show up as a different version of yourself. And it's been really, really fun to watch you do that this year. Okay. So Shanae, who's been so patient, take us back to, there was an original inspiration between Girl High, but then what happened, since the time I've known you is you actually decided to kind of reinvent your whole strategy behind the boutique. So talk to us a little bit about that and just your journey to making that first investment.
Sure. So how it even came about really is I got out of a really crappy relationship that I was in for years. And I just found myself in my early 30s, feeling so alone and sad and low self-esteem and all of that. So I really went on this journey of self-love. And through that, I just found ways of protecting my heart and myself and anything that I could do to make myself feel better. So it was this big self-love journey. And then it turned into, okay, well, now I want other women to feel good as well. So how can I do that? What are the ways that I can do that? And clothing, I've always loved fashion. So I'm like, okay, I know what it feels like to put on an outfit and it can change my whole vibe, change my whole mood. So why don't I do that? So I went ahead and started the boutique. And honestly, when it first came out, I always joke, but it's true. It was like to crickets, like nobody, my mom, some friends bought some things, and otherwise nothing was happening there. I was proud I like stood it up myself and all of that, but it was not happening. So I was like, what do I need to do to refocus this? So I niched down. I was like, okay, I want to offer dresses. Because I found myself saying, hey, I need a dress for this baby shower. I want a good dress for date night. I want a dress for a wedding I'm attending. So I decided to niche down and only offer dresses. So I came up with this idea. And then I was like, okay, I need to do things differently though. The first time I learned a lot, but I need to do this relaunch with more focus. And so when I came across your connection calls, like a lot of you ladies did too last year, it really introduced me to this whole new world. And I've definitely made investments before, but they kind of just fell flat. And I think what made this different, and when we connected on our call, Lindsay, is just knowing that I wasn't alone, knowing that we had these calls on a weekly basis where I can relate to other people that are on the same track, especially working full time and working on this on the side. There was a lot of women in those situations that I could relate to. And it really just, that community that you created was everything. It was something I'd never experienced before. And truly, it's kind of like, it's like a vetted community that you automatically know you're just going to vibe with these women. Like the whole, your vibe attracts your tribe. Like truly, I've never seen it like that before. But if I come across a girl that I'm like, oh, you're connected to this, I know I'm going to like you. Like,
yeah.
I already know, like, and it's so true. And it's crazy to say, but it's just time and time has been proven that was the case. But going through Six Figure for School really helped me focus, really helped me connect and just get back to the basics of what I needed to do to make this relaunch successful. So it really just helped me do that. So when I relaunched last November, and it was not to crickets, yay! And it's been great. So
it's been so fun to watch. And I think you are such a testament to the idea that, even for myself, the first couple things I launched weren't a home run. And having that willingness to stick it out and reinvent where necessary and stay true to your original vision, just why you knew you were meant to do something like this in the first place. It's been so fun. And I know that like the future is so bright and so fabulous. Thanks to you. We all have that problem solved of what to wear. So I'm so grateful. I have a couple of questions that I want to ask a few of you individually, because you really represent, and why it was actually very difficult to choose just 4 people to represent the community, because it is truly the most incredible community of women. And we have women who came in without any clue what their business idea was, all the way to businesses that were already monetizing and doing a lot of the right things. So I think that's what makes it really special, is you really get to see women who represent exactly where you might be in the journey. But each of you also have just some special and unique elements that I'd love to have you speak to a little more. So Meghan, you as a mom of 3 boys and a husband who's an entrepreneur as well, you obviously wear a lot of hats. You spoke to this when you were just talking about your business earlier, about how it can be tough for moms. And I'm not one, I don't have my own children yet, but talk to the moms who are sitting there like you were a few years ago with that desire in their heart, or that knowing that they're meant for more. What words of encouragement do you have for the woman who's in that space and might really resonate with that idea of kind of being disconnected from herself as a woman versus herself as a mom? What would you encourage her with?
I would just say, and one of the biggest things for me was, it's just never too late. You can start exactly where you are and not know anything. Because I didn't, like I said, all this whole new world was open to me that I didn't even know existed. But if you're willing to grow every single day, even by 1%, if you're willing to be curious enough to find out what opportunities might be out there, go for it. Because I started to learn that I was becoming resentful, essentially, because I wasn't filling up my own bucket. I wasn't taking care of myself and pursuing the things that I ultimately wanted to do, that I didn't even know I wanted to do because I had suppressed it so much, or I really put my family at the forefront. And I was like, I love these people, but I can't be the best mom that I want to be for them if I'm not taking care of myself, if I'm not pursuing my own goals. Like, I'm constantly telling my sons, do anything you want to do, set your goals, let's dream big. But if I'm not doing that for myself, then I'm not being that example. And I'm always a huge lead by example person. So I always want to be doing the exact things that I'm telling my family to do, the people around me. I don't want to say, do as I say and not as I do. I want them to show up the way I'm showing up. And to all the moms who are wondering, like, well, I don't even know, if you're unhappy, if you know that going into work every day and it's not fulfilling you, it's not joyful, or you're just like, well, it's comfortable because we have benefits or it works for the family. If you just kind of have this knowing that potentially there could be more, or you just even want more, or want to explore the possibility, just show up, just connect, ask questions. It's not too late for you to explore what else might be out there. And, you are so much more than just a mom, just a wife. You were made specifically to be who you are, and you should always show up as that first, because that just overflows into your ability to be the best mom, to be the best wife, friend, sister, whatever it might be.
That is like some straight up truth that we're all nodding along. Even those of us that are not moms, we're like, yes. I mean, but it's so true. And thank you. Thank you for just your heart in sharing that. I know that's going to speak directly to more than a few people. I want to talk a little bit to you, Stef. there's a few of you on here, obviously, who are working full-time jobs while building a business on the side. And that can be a really tricky season. It can be tricky to figure out how to balance time, how to keep yourself motivated in the job that you may not love. Although I know you're in a situation where you do love the job that you're doing during the day. What words of advice do you have for the side hustler, the woman who's working after hours to make her dreams come true and committed to, whether it's a 9 to 5 or whatever her schedule is, full time building someone else's dream?
Thank you for this question. I'm very excited to share what I've learned on my journey. When I decided to start Manifest, I remember the exact day. I was in San Francisco for work, traveling between San Francisco and San Jose for an inconsequential meeting for the business. And I was listening to an incredible audiobook called Disrupt Her by Mickey Agarwal. And I was maybe a chapter or two in, and she says, the average person has 19,500 days between the day they graduate college and the day they die. And I was like, skirt. Sorry, what? And I was done with lunch, done with meetings for the day. And I was deciding, like, do I want to drive back to San Francisco to sit in my sad hotel room? Or do I want to go south to the Bixby Bridge, which is this gorgeous bridge in Big Sur right on the Pacific coast? I had a rental car that my company had paid for, and I had a meal that I could expense. And so I decided that day to drive south. And when I got to the bridge, I remember, sitting and watching sunset. I just thought to myself, like, if I really only have 19,500 days ish, what is the legacy that I want to leave? Like when somebody gives my eulogy, what do I want them to say? And it wasn't, Steph made the best PowerPoint slides. She really had great presentations. We loved business lunches with Steph. It was, Steph was born to make an impact, and she loved with her whole heart. And when she hugged, like, you felt like her embrace and every ounce of her energy. And I just thought to myself, like, I'm not doing this in my day to day. I'm passionate about what I'm doing. I think that the technology that we're bringing to the market is going to change the world, but I'm bigger, I'm more than just that piece of technology and just the role that I'm playing for this company. And I'm, again, big on the personal development space. And there's another author, Amber Ray, who in her book, Choose Wonder Over Worry, writes that most people think that life is about saying no to the things that you don't want to do, to say yes to the things that you do want to do. And she says, we've got it all wrong. We need to say no to the things that we want to do, to say yes to the things that we want to do even more. And that was just a big chunk of who I've become. Is I don't have to say yes to Manifest or Narrative Science, which is where I work full time. I can say yes to both. It just requires the discipline to say no to the things that I do really honestly want to do, but just aren't the things that I want to do even more. And so I think if you keep in the back of your mind always, like, who do I want to be at my eulogy? Like, what are the stories I want to be told about me? Then you can really live a life where you're building towards that legacy. And you're not thinking in the day to day or the year to year, but you're thinking in the course of my lifetime. And that gives you a lot of freedom to use the word no more to the things that you do want to do, but you just can't prioritize for that season, for that moment. And so that's how I operate.
Yeah. Wow. I think our eyes all got as wide as my ring light that I'm looking at. When you gave that number, it really puts it into perspective, just how short life is. Wow. All right. Well, I'm going to be filled with so much more purpose for the rest of this day, week, year. Thank you so much for that. Shanae, one of the things we've had conversations about, and there's a few other women in Six Figure School as well who have product-based businesses. And that's just a whole different, it really is kind of a whole different approach than some of our service-based businesses, and the unique challenges come along with it. What would you say is the biggest thing you've learned managing a product-based business that you want to speak some encouragement into a woman who's sitting there with just brilliant idea to open a boutique or start we have Kayla Gray, Kelly, who founded Kayla Gray with her candle and fragrance line in Six Figure School as well. So many incredible women, but I know that that's sometimes a challenge, is finding those unique spaces to support you from a product-based business perspective. So give us some wisdom. What have you learned?
Yes, I would say the biggest thing I learned is you don't have to start super big. with my first collection and even the collections that I do now, you can start small and it's okay. Like I started my first collection with only, I think, 10 pieces. This one, it's broader. It's like, I think now we're up to 23 to 25 pieces. So with product-based businesses, I would just say it's okay to start small, fill it out, and test it out, and then you can grow. But you don't need thousands of dollars. You don't need any of that. You can seriously just start small with what you have and grow from there. So, yeah, that's probably the biggest thing I've learned. And I really appreciate the fact that within Six Figure School, you do address both. So it's not like you're just speaking to those service-based or product. You do go back and forth and provide examples for both. That was so helpful. So.
Yeah. Well, and it was people like you and like Kelly who had me step back and think, oh, wow, okay, there's really a need to support businesses like yours because it's a little bit different, but everything, if I paused to think about it, related, it just might look a little different. So it's something I'm really committed to doing better and better, even as we grow, is having resources to support those of you in the product space. But I love that. That's such great advice. I think for all of us too, don't be afraid to start small, right? It just costs, it's more a financial tip when you're physically investing in inventory, but for all of us, just remembering that it's okay to start small. So Sarah, one of my absolute favorite things about you is the way that you show up and support other women. And I would love to have you speak to how important that is in getting the most out of an investment. Like you show up, there's actually, I haven't shared this with you, but in the Girl Gang community, we can see in the Facebook group, like who the most interactive people are, who's commenting on everyone's posts, who's welcoming people, liking comment. And you are number one in that group of over 100 women. And it's just so true to how you showed up even within the Six Figure School community. How has that played a role in what you get out of a program like this? Like how important is it to be intentional with the way that you show up within a space or a course, whatever that might be?
Gosh, I feel like it's everything. I mean, the community and the connections are just so important. That's where you're really learning from other people. You're helping people, people are helping you. Just even with the Six Figure School, with the weekly calls that we have, I mean, you talk about, what are your breakthroughs and your breakdowns? And, everybody shares those things and it's very authentic. And I truly just love supporting other businesses. And I think it's just, I try to like every day reach out to a couple of businesses or people that I'm friends with that have businesses and check in and see, hey, what can we do to support you? And I just think it brings such like an energy to just be there for each other. And it's just something I love. And the more that you do that when you're investing in a program, the more value you're going to get in all of the areas because you're going to be there for people, they're going to be there for you. And I think you just also learn your gifts doing that. So people see things in you that maybe you don't see. And when you put yourself out there, people are also kind of looking at what you're doing and helping you figure out, the direction that you can go to as well. So I just think that's such an important part. And that's what I felt right away with, Powerhouse Women in general, is I just felt so connected into the community. So with Six Figure School, it was the same thing.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say that I think it's really important to get out of your comfort zone and connect with people. So if I see somebody that I think is doing amazing things, I'm going to reach out and send them a message. Like it doesn't hurt if I want to have someone on my podcast that maybe isn't somebody that would for sure do it. Maybe I think that, oh no, I'm just starting out, they're too big. Well, I'm just going to reach out and see if I feel like maybe I could help them, promote their message or, add value to them. Like, I think it's just really good for everybody to just get out of that comfort zone, put yourself out there because you never know what can happen and amazing things can happen.
Oh, that's so well said. And it doesn't have to take a lot of time either. Think about it. If we were just intentional, even if it was just reaching out to connect with one person a day or send one person an encouraging note. But it's that spirit and you embody it. All of you do that true collaboration and support. I always say for me, I know that we're doing the right thing when we don't even have to use the hashtag women supporting women. That's just who we are. Like we don't really need to hashtag it. It's just what people know us to be. And you all have been such a big part of that. So I'm going to ask one final question. I could legit talk to all of you all day long, but some of you have to get back to work. Before I do that, I just really want to clarify. I'm a proponent of you listening, whoever you are, wherever you find yourself. I want you to find the investment that feels right for you, whether it has anything to do with Powerhouse Women, no matter if it is anything related to what we're talking about today. I really want you to hear this from my heart, that there is something out there that's perfect for the next step for you. So whether it's the Six Figure School program, the Girl Gang membership, it could be something totally different. I just really want you to hear the breakthroughs that these women have had came from taking that step of investing in themselves and finding the place that was authentically the best fit for them. So I really hope you heard that from our conversation today. But because we are, when you're hearing this episode, I guess when it goes live, we don't know when you're listening to it. We are now enrolling for the next Six Figure School program. So we only open it twice a year, and it goes for 12 weeks. You get live calls every week for the 12 weeks, and then a ton of video modules, mindset modules. And it really is just the most fun. It's probably my favorite thing that we do within Powerhouse Women. And so what I'd love for each of you to share, just kind of like as final words of wisdom, is I'd love for you to share what's maybe the number one thing that you took away from your last round of Six Figure School. And I want you to share just that a piece of advice that you learned that might help a woman listening take her next step toward whatever her big idea is. So it can literally be anything at all that you took away from the mindset, the strategy. Maybe it was something another person in the course shared with you. It had nothing to do with the content itself. So not to put you on the spot, Meghan, but do you want to go first?
Yeah, definitely. So just kind of reiterating on kind of where I am in life, anyone who is contemplating or looking at Six Figure School, being a mom, raising tiny humans, a household, trying to like do my own business, I need something like literally just tell me what to do and I will do it. Like I need a roadmap. I need some guidelines, some maybe creative freedoms. But what I love about Six Figure School is in you, Lindsay, and Powerhouse Women and everything you share, everything is so tangible. Like you give us actionable steps, things we can actually do. It's not just kind of this like idea and then you need to figure it out. You literally give us the roadmap. And that's what I need. Doing so many different things and wearing so many different hats. It's like literally this step-by-step guide. And when I came into it, again, I had an idea of who I wanted to serve, but I didn't know what that looked like or how that looked like. So for the women who don't even have an idea or maybe have an idea, but have no idea what to do with it, this is the exact program for you because it will help you clarify the next steps to take and literally give you actionable steps to kind of bring that into fruition. And the biggest thing I got out of it was just to continue showing up when you feel uncomfortable and have no idea what you're doing, because that's where I was, because I literally just had an idea and I didn't know where I was going with it or how it was even going to become a business. And I was like, I have no entrepreneurial background. I don't know any entrepreneurs other than you, Lindsay. It's like none of my family or friends. So it was like, I didn't have these outside resources, but I had to continue to show up and grow, even when I felt like the person in the background, you know, when you're in the back of the class and you don't want anyone to like see or hear you, you're just there trying to absorb it. Just keep showing up, even if that's how you feel, because it will continue to build the confidence. And like Sarah was saying, the women in that community, I mean, they're like all your best friends that you just haven't met yet. So
whether you are looking for new best friends or not, your girl gang is about to grow.
Right.
I love that. Sarah, what would you say? Biggest takeaway from Six Figure School that could encourage another person?
Well, I bet everybody can guess what I would say, but it is the community. And also just, you might not guess it, but I'm actually an introvert. So I think sometimes it's really scary to think about joining something like this and putting yourself out there. And I definitely started by joining some of those connection calls with my camera off. And once you just lean into that and understand that everybody there is there to support you and everyone wants to help each other and cheer each other on, you just start to get more comfortable, and it just becomes so much easier where then you don't even give it a second thought. So I think, if that part's scary to you, just lean into it, put yourself out there. Everybody is there to support you.
Yeah. Oh, I love that story. And we had quite a few women who started attending calls with cameras off. And then now, shout out to Christine, who is my favorite story to share that about. Now she's hosting it's like the after party for Six Figure School. I'm not even on these calls, but she's hosting calls so that the group can stay connected while we're in between live programs. So I love that example. That's so good. Stef, what about you?
I think that there's somebody out here who probably needs to hear this. It's when you pay attention. And when you invest in yourself, like, you become a different person. Mm-hmm. And you're probably looking at the price tag for Six Figure School and like a little scared, right? Like, what if I make this investment and I don't get out of this program what I'm meant to get out, or something like that? And here's what I learned going through it is, like, you will get the experience you're meant to have going through it. And fortunately, the way that this is designed is you can go back, you can rewatch, you can keep connected with the community. And I can speak personally. I think I've gone through every single video module, both mindset as well as strategy, 5 times each. It's been unbelievable. And so even if like you don't have like the business idea, right? But you think that this could be the thing to get you to the business idea. Or if you're like me and you're coming in with a business idea that you just need to rip and replace or do something with, you're going to get out of this program exactly what you're meant to. And making that investment may be, the best leap of faith you make in your life. So just think of who you could become 12 weeks from today, and imagine like who you'll become if you do the program and who you'll become if you don't, and then choose the one that you want more.
Ooh, dang. I'm like, that's speaking some truth into my life right now. Okay, Shanae, what about you?
I would just say to anyone thinking about it is, you deserve it. You deserve to put yourself first. You deserve to explore your potential. You deserve to bring yourself the knowledge in the community that's going to be there to support you. And investing in yourself is like such a big form of self-love. So I know it's very kind of a hot topic right now, self-care, self-love. And one thing that I think just is a pillar to that is investing in yourself. Like, be your biggest cheerleader. And along the way, you're going to find a group of other women who are going to cheer you on as well, which is just the biggest bonus of it all. So do it.
Well, I have nothing else to say. That was, truly just so well said. And I cannot wait to continue to watch each of your journeys grow, because from what I've seen, and no matter how long I've known you, the growth I've personally seen in each and every one of you is what keeps me going. So thank you so much for who you are, who you've been for the Powerhouse community. We're going to link all of their info below in the show notes, and then it'll be posted along with this on our social media channels too. So I want all of you who are listening, go and follow each and every one of these women. Send them a quick DM. Here's kind of like a way to put what Sarah shared in action. Send them a DM. Let them know what they specifically said that resonated with you. For some people, doing a podcast interview is scary. I don't know. You all looked like pros, so this might not be that scary for you, but it really means the world when you reach out and let people know what value you took away. And then if you know you're ready, all I want you to do, text me the word ready. I'll give you the text number and we'll send you the link, and you can check out all the details for Six Figure School. So you just text the word ready to 602-536-7829. And your girl gang is waiting for you. It's all I'm saying. This is like, it's going to be the biggest party on this side of the Mississippi. Is that the word? This spring, going down in the Powerhouse Women community. So ladies, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.